Well, today we are going to take a look at some of the hot topics triggering fiery debate, from the controversial to the downright outrageous. Stay tuned, folks, as we break it down right here on Good Day Street Talk.
This is Good Day Street Talk.
And welcome, everyone, to Good Day Street Talk. Good to have you with us this morning. I'm Reed Lamberty, and we are starting with a story that has sparked a lot of debate. Sparked it last week as a state lawmaker threw salt on the wounds of New York restaurant goers and eateries by trying to take it away. The proposed salt ban is an effort to get people on the healthy eating track, but critics, including chefs and patrons alike, want politicians to stay out of the kitchen. Fox 5's Carolyn Gussoff has more.
Spice may be a good thing in life, but when the spice is salt, it could be too much of a good thing. State Assemblyman Felix Ortiz of Brooklyn thinks New Yorkers consume far too much salt. He's proposing banning it altogether from restaurant food, not even a pinch.
I think it's a joke.
Melba Wilson, owner of Melba's in Harlem, says you wouldn't want to eat something without any salt.
I don't think there's any way any chef or any cook, anyone who cooks, you know, a mother, a father, anyone can prepare a meal, a recipe without salt.
And at the upscale SD26, where they use 8 different kinds of salt, the chef says they never cook with unhealthy amounts, but you need enough to make food taste, well, tasty.
They're going to start to say, oh, where is my food, my real food?
They're going to think the chef is to blame.
Yeah, exactly.
So just how much salt is too much? We asked a dietitian at New York Presbyterian, where even the hospital cafeteria cooks with some salt. She says more than a teaspoon daily does become unhealthy.
Some sodium is needed, both for health benefits, also just for food preparation. However, a lot of studies have shown that there are risks with eating too much sodium. It increases your risk for heart disease, for stroke, high blood pressure.
Ortiz has said that banning salt in restaurant food would save money in health care and lives. He's sprinkling in a $1,000 fine for violators. The city health department is already trying to get restaurants to voluntarily cut down on their salt use, but eliminating it altogether, restaurant owners say in this tough economy, that would be like pouring salt in the wound. Carolyn Gussoff, Fox 5 News.
All right, let's talk much more about this. Joining me now for much more, Alex Leo, senior editor at the Huffington Post, political blogger Liza Sabater, who is publisher of the Daily Gotham, reporter Susanna Cahalan of the New York Post, and radio talk show host Curtis Sliwa, who of course can be heard Monday through Friday, 5 to 9 a.m. on AM 970, The Apple. Good morning. Thank you all for being with us this morning. And Curtis, I'll start with you. Salt ban, good idea, bad idea, or is this just more government intrusion and get out of my kitchen?
Well, these health department Nazis, if they try to pry that salted pretzel out of my hands, I'll be cold and dead. Although, think of those gavones who are at a 5-star restaurant. They haven't even tasted the food yet, right? Nice steak. And they start putting salt on it. Those people I'd send to Gitmo.
That's
absolutely.
I have to admit, I'm one of those persons, I think, who does that. But Susanna, it's not a bad idea, I guess, in principle, because we all know we have to have a certain amount of sodium in our diet, and food tastes really good. Look, McDonald's French fries taste really good because of all the salt they put on it. However, there is an argument to make that healthy New Yorkers cutting back on healthcare costs and would just make us healthier overall.
I think that's correct, but I also think it's a complete nanny tax. I mean, we're allowed, I think they say a healthy amount is a teaspoon a day of salt. So I just the idea that they would, you know, say you can't have any salt at all. I mean, we need it for making bread.
Right.
We need it to make food taste good. I mean, I think it's just ridiculous.
It doesn't seem necessarily realistic that this, Liza, would even come to fruition.
No, I mean, I'm a trained chef, and there's no way that you can actually cook you know, bake a cake, for example, or create bread without actually putting, you know, salt in it. You just can't take it out. But I'm more worried that, you know, there's this micromanagement of looking at the salt and not looking, for example, in a lot of poor neighborhoods that we have, that people don't have access to fresh vegetables or fruit or good produce. And so why not fight for that as opposed to, you know, put a ban on salt?
Yeah, Yeah, they're really just putting a microscope on this one small issue.
Exactly.
But there is, Alex, there is an argument to be made. Look, when the smoking ban took effect years ago, a lot of restaurants and bars said we're going to lose a lot of business. However, that's not the case, and it's proven. There's an indication studies that do prove that New Yorkers are healthier because there is no smoking in restaurants and in bars. Might the same argument be made for something like this?
I've never heard of secondhand salt, Reed. I'm not sure it doesn't exist. You know, frankly, this assemblyman wants to make a name for himself, and the best way to do that in New York is to come out with some crazy idea and get everyone riled up about it.
Well, here's another crazy idea, of course, we're among those, and of course we all know the state financial problems. We're having major issues, so we need to come up with money, and one of the ways they want to do this is now proposed soda tax, and they want to tax carbonated beverages, which again seems a little bit obtrusive, right?
Absolutely. You know, frankly, the government is the one that is subsidizing corn. The federal government subsidizes corn, which is why high fructose corn syrup is so widely used in products, making Americans obese. And the idea that the federal government is going to endorse that and then the local government is going to tax us for it is insane.
And Curtis, I guess if let's say down the road you have a soda tax and you have a ban on salt, I guess everyone's going to say, well, what's next?
What's next? It's the sweetened Kool-Aid for the poor and impoverished, right? As kids, who would be the idiot to drink the unsweetened Kool-Aid? Everybody wanted sweetened Kool-Aid. Sweet tea at Mickey D's. It's a $1 value menu item.
Yes,
what are they going to do? Tax it by another $1, so it's $2? This is ridiculous. You know, there's a lot of people down at City Hall who have a little bit too much time each and every day figuring how to tax us from the cradle to the grave.
But is this disastrous politics or is this creative thinking? Look, we are in a situation where we need money. The state needs money, and if the state doesn't get money, the city's not getting money.
But doesn't the Board of Education have a exclusive contract with Coca-Cola? So all public schools in New York City basically line the pockets of the Coca-Cola company. I mean, that's part of the problem. It's not so much whether we should put a tax on beverages or we should put a tax on salt. It's just that there's no absolute diversity of food and vegetables, and they don't even get me started with, you know, places where the kids can play.
But you know how much money is involved in that, of course. I mean, that's the problem. But although with that said, both Pepsi and Coca-Cola recently announcing that they're actually going to take their products.
Give that lady a V8. V8 has salt in it, right? V8 has salt in it. You can't have your V8. I'll give you vegetables.
I can't have V8. It's tomato. It's inflammatory.
Is this, Susanna, though, is this something where we're perhaps on a slippery slope where we're taxing people's bad habits or taxing people's routine habits? I mean, who doesn't have a soda, who doesn't have French fries and use salt in their diet and things of that nature?
Well, you know, the thing I find the worst thing about it is that it's just not honest. They're saying, oh, it's because of health that they want to do this. They really want the money. And if they were just honest, they said, yeah, we need the money, I would maybe support it. But I think that they're couching it in this kind of health, you know, aspect I just don't agree with.
And on that point, they're only taxing non-diet soda. Now, diet soda has got to be worse for you with all the chemicals.
It's linked to pancreatic cancer.
But you realize on 138th and Brook, I could score a $5 bag of dope, heroin, almost pure, and it cost me for a single cigarette in a bodega, a Lucy, $1. Never mind $10 or more for a pack. $1 for a Lucy.
Right.
Now, is that a little bit too much tax or what? Huh?
Right. So
$1 for a cigarette.
It's against the law to have Lucy's.
Oh, excuse me. It's against the law to sell dope up in South Bronx.
It might be illegal to have salt as well. Right. All right, we got a lot more to talk about here. Coming up next, art or insult? It's a mural that is stirring up some controversy right in the heart of Times Square. That and much more when Good Day Street Talk continues. Keep it right here, folks.